Hi, I'm Paul from the Studio Rats. Today's video, we're looking at this, which is the Walrus Audio Canvas reamp box. Now, if you don't know what a reamp box is, this whole video is going to explain exactly what it is and how I use a reamp box in the studio pretty much daily. Now, before I continue with this, let me just explain the reason for having a reamp box. Basically, when you take a line out of your interface, it's the wrong impedance. What this basically does is switches the impedance back into guitar level and guitar impedance, which is high impedance, and that gives your amplifier best sound or the best way of performing to its optimum ability. One of the applications that you can use a reamp box for is for recording a DI signal straight into your DAW or digital audio workstation, and then reamping, meaning coming out of your interface into the reamp box and then going into an amplifier to shape the sound to how you want. So what I'm going to do is to do a couple of demonstrations of the way that I use a reamp box. Now, the first way is exactly as I just explained. What I'm going to do is to record a guitar into my DAW, a DI guitar, and then reamp it through my amplifier. So what we've got here, I've got my guitar plugged into my Universal Audio X6 interface, and I've got Tonex as a plugin inside my DAW, and it sounds like this. Now I want to feel inspired as I'm recording this track, so I'm going to add some delay and reverb inside of my DAW. So let's switch on Valhalla Shimmer and my analog delay, which is part of Studio One, and it sounds like this. Now if I switch off all of those effects, including Tonex, the guitar sounds like this. Which, as you can hear, is pretty uninspiring. So let's switch on all the effects and let's go for a take. So I've recorded that guitar part, so let me play that back without any of the effects on it, and I'll show you exactly what I've recorded. So as you can hear, that's just the DI guitar part. Now again, if I switch on Tonex and the other effects, it sounds like the original guitar part that I recorded. Now, what I want to do with this is to send this guitar part out to my matchless amplifier. And to do that, what I need to do is to take an output out of my interface and to go into the reamp box. Now, the reason why the Walrus Canvas reamp box is so useful is because it's got a bunch of controls on it that we can really add to the tone. Now, first of all, we've got a volume control, which is quite unusual for a reamp box. So what we can actually do here is to drive the signal harder into my amp. So if I want to boost the signal going into my amp, I can do that using the Walrus Audio Canvas. Also, on the other side of this unit, we've got a ground lift. So if we've got any noise, we can lift the ground so we get a silent recording. We've got a mute switch, just in case we want to mute. A phase switch, so if we're recording multiple parts or multiple instruments or multiple microphones, we can sort out the phase by flipping the phase by pushing this button. And also we've got a high pass filter. So if your amplifier is a little bit boomy, we can actually sort that out by pushing that button in. So enough of me yabbering on. What I'm going to do is to mute all of the effects that I've put inside my DAW, and I'm going to send the output of this track out to this reamp box. So as I said, that's coming out my interface, and I plug to the in of the reamp box. Now what I'd like to do is have a compressor before my amplifier. So I'm going to, instead of plugging straight out the reamp box, I'm going to take the reamp box, plug it into my compressor pedal, and then link the reamp box to the compressor pedal. So let's go back to the start of the track, and what I'm going to do is to switch in the compressor and get the tone that I want coming from the reamp box into the compressor into my amp. So basically what this is enabling me to do is to use all of my pedals and amplifiers to get the sound that I want post the recording. So I haven't got to commit at the time of recording to that sound. So I can always change things afterwards. So there's the first use that I would use a reamp box for. Now let's go to the second use, which is creating captures using Tonex. Now, as I said, what I'm going to do in this section of this video is to show you how to reamp by using the Walrus Audio canvas box. Now, I'm creating a capture inside of Tonex, and basically what I'm doing, I'm plugging my guitar into my interface, and that's connected to my computer. Now, when I play through that, I've got my guitar, which is connected high impedance into the interface. And now if I take an output out of that interface, it's basically low impedance. Now that's not going to be good if I want to plug that back into a guitar amp. It's not really going to do guitar amp any harm. But as I said, you want to give your guitar amp the best signal possible by making it high impedance, which is what the canvas is going to be doing. I'll quickly explain how I've got this set up. So my guitar is plugged into my line 1 or my high impedance input. And I'm taking line 3 out back into the canvas reamp box. Let's go next. Now all of this section is basically getting the right level to come out of my interface into the reamp box. So now what you're hearing is my guitar going through my interface into the reamp box, and we're listening to my matches amplifier. Now, if you listen really carefully, you'll notice that there's some noise coming from all the cabling that's going on, going into my matches amplifier. So, as I said, what we can do with the canvas is we can switch the ground lift, which completely eliminates that noise. As I said earlier, we've also got a mute, so that will completely mute the signal. We've got a phase switch, which doesn't really matter in this situation because we're only using one source. And the other part of this pedal, which is really handy, is this high pass filter. So if you listen to my match list, we've got quite a lot of low end going on. So what I can do is to switch in the high pass filter, and that filters off some of that low end EQ. So that's in, and this is out. Now to me, that's absolutely perfect. So now I can capture my amp. So there you go. Now, if you do any guitar recording, actually, if you do any recording whatsoever, a reamp box, something like the Canvas, is incredibly useful. If you're even recording drums and you want to put effects pedals on your drums, which can sound really fantastic by adding some distortion to the snare drum or to cymbals, etc., it can really add a nice element to a mix. So not only would I really recommend getting a reamp box, if you're going to buy one, you might as well buy one that does everything and sounds absolutely fantastic, which is the Walrus Audio Canvas. Anyway, I really hope you guys got something out of this. If you did get something out of it, don't forget to like and subscribe, click on the bell button, and you'll be notified of any future video that comes out from the Studio Rats. I'm Paul, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.